So this is the answers to 8 through 12 on Test 2 review. Simplify the absolute value expression for each of these absolute values. So first, it's a basic, the absolute value of 5. Well, the mathematical definition of the absolute value is that it's asking you the distance from 0. So 5, the number 5, is 5 steps from 0. So you're taking 5 steps. So the absolute value of 5 equals 5. Now, if you were to have the absolute value, or if you were to have been asked what is the absolute value of -5, for example, if you were doing the absolute value of -5, it is 5 steps still away from 0. You're still doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's not a negative number because it's just asking you what is the distance from 0, not how much less than 0 it is. It's just the distance from 0. So it's still positive. So the absolute value of -5 would then be +5. Make sure we've got the right. Now, so for the rest of these, I'm not going to draw a number line, but we will type in. So the absolute value, let's draw it in, of -18 is 18, because even though it is to the left of 0, you still just walk 18 steps to the -18. It's the distance from 0, not how much less than 0 it is. On this one, they're not asking you what is the absolute value of -17. The negative sign is outside of the absolute value signs. So what they're asking you is, the question is, what is the opposite? So that's what this negative sign is, outside, because you're looking at that first, then you're looking at the absolute value. So what is the opposite of the absolute value of 17? So now that we're seeing it, the opposite, this comes first, outside of the absolute value signs. So we have to read it outside of the absolute value signs. However, we do solve the absolute inside of the absolute value signs first. So the absolute value of 17 equals 17. And so now it wants the opposite. So then what? So then, the opposite of 17 is -17. So our answer ultimately to number 10 is -17. And that would be this number here. And let's put it in blue, I guess. That's ultimately the answer to number 10. Number 11, we're going to have, what is the absolute value of -3/14? It doesn't matter if you have a fraction, it's still going to be the absolute value, so you'll still have the positive as an answer. So let's get it back in the black here. So the absolute value of the -3/14 is then just the +3/14. Okay. And then here, once again, we have to break it into 2 pieces. You have the opposite first, then you have the absolute value. So we type it into a sentence. So we keep our details clear here. So what is the opposite of That is the opposite of the absolute value. Absolute value of negative 1/2. So that's the question. So then the answer is, first it's in 2 steps. We say the absolute value of negative 1/2 is, of course, 1/2. Then the opposite of 1/2 is negative 1/2. So the answer, negative 1/2 for number 12.